Go.
Hello everyone,
Hi,
I'm Gemma
I'm Jim.
and we work together under the name Action Hero, creating performances and artworks and installations, and to celebrate 15 years together of creative practice, we're creating a series of director's commentaries where we talk about every single project that we've ever made together.
That's right. And today we're going to share with you a project we made called Wrecking Ball. This is number 9,
It's the ninth one of
the
11.
ninth one. We're coming towards the end. And this one, what's the headline, Gemma?
The headline is It's a Play. Watch out. So we created this piece. I think we started working on it around 2014, I think, and then it was touring, started touring in the UK, I think maybe late 2000, I want to say late 2015. Bulk of its touring was 2016, 17, and I think the last time we performed it was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was at Forest Fringe in 2015. We performed it a lot, but over a short period of time, which is
Yes.
unusual for us. Usually we're performing shows for
Yeah,
years
sort
and
of
years.
spreading them out. But this had a kind of pretty intensive UK tour.
We also made it really quick.
Yeah, for us, quick for us, which
Yeah,
is
like
still 9 months.
Yeah, which for us was very unusual.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't take us 9 months to make it, just over the course of 9 months in bits and
24 hours a
bobs.
day,
Yeah.
9 months of labour.
So we performed it a lot in the UK. We also took the piece to Australia, where we performed it in Melbourne. So it was commissioned by the Spring Festivals Commission, but it kind of started before that as part of a residency that we were doing a place called Counterpulse in San Francisco in collaboration with the University of Chichester.
Yes, we were working, we were kind of paired with an artist from San Francisco who was a writer and artist called Andrea Hart. And we were just kind of, I think it was like a couple of weeks or a week.
Yeah, just to sort of like, have a bit of an exchange, and then there was some like showing at the end.
Yeah, and the three of us kind of got really into Miley Cyrus, who at the time was really kind of present in this way where she was kind of reinventing herself as herself.
Yeah, so we had sort of become, as a kind of trio, interested in her, this process of her like emerging out of being Hannah Montana into being Miley Cyrus, who was her real self. So we were doing all sorts of like fun writing exercises and tasks about what it means to speak with your real voice. And yeah, I guess like, sort of from a kind of character perspective, being interested in like wanting to like perform the authentic self, especially when that's like a relaunch so kind of, yeah, the idea that you weren't that before was quite interesting.
Yeah, and then we kind of came to this idea, which we did as a small work in progress, where the audience played a character, and the audience sort of read in for a character who was having a conversation with a performer on the stage.
And that was sort of a way of like exploring the thing of spontaneity being scripted, or putting words in someone else's mouth, or what it might mean to have a conversation that feels kind of like real and authentic, but actually that's kind of pre-planned in advance, and kind of linking into ideas of like theatre and scripting and like rehearsal for your own authentic self.
Yeah, and very quickly it also became obvious that there was something in there about power and the power dynamics that happen within a creative process or within theatre,
Yeah.
and what it means to be an audience. So the audience actually, we had scripts that we gave members of the audience and asked them to read in.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an interesting experiment, and then we were really kind of into the idea of developing it into a full-length show, and it got commissioned, and then we realised sort of as we were developing the work that this sort of idea of the audience being a character had a sort of weirdly short lifespan. Like you could do it for about 10 minutes,
and then it wasn't interesting
and
anymore.
then it wouldn't work, and things would break too much. And so what we realised was, to get to that point, we had to basically write a play,
Yeah.
which we hadn't really done before.
Not really. I mean, I think, obviously we'd done a lot of writing before and we'd made a lot of work that could be called theatre. But yeah, I think we realised like, we need to like set up something with really formal theatrical conventions in order to break it. We'd gone straight to the breaking.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Formal for us anyway. And it was as our first end-on
Yes,
piece.
so we decided that what we were doing was making a site-specific piece for a theatre space, because I think the piece is really about. Well, I think there's lots of things it's about. I think there's like a kind of strand of it which is about performance, authenticity, rehearsal, reality, fiction, which kind of like, and that sort of like dovetails in with the kind of like play side of it. And then there's kind of this other strand which is kind of it's just developed through the narrative. So the sort of narrative of the piece is that there's a celebrity, unnamed, and that she is having her photo taken by a photographer, unnamed. So the sort of the piece happens like in a photo studio, photographic studio of sorts, and we kind of see, she is like wanting to like reinvent herself or kind of like be the real her, and it's like, what's that, what kind of what's that process going to be like? And then the piece kind of like starts to unravel as these questions of like fiction, reality, they start to sort of play out, and it starts to make the piece dismantle a bit.
Yeah, interestingly as well, Gemma, you describe it there as in the narrative, and even though it's more of a conventional piece for us in terms of form, actually the narrative is quite similar to our other work in that it's not, there's a narrative arc, but there's not really a story, it's more a scenario, and the scenario has a sort of A, B, C that we move through, and it's actually carried out almost in event time like our earlier work. Like it's almost like this is something you are witnessing as an audience.
A photo shoot happening.
Yeah, and we even in the beginning acknowledge the audience there as if they're as if they are present somehow.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna. We've got a video of the show, but we've also got some video that we made with our friend Andy Eagles, who shot some stuff for us to make trailers.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you one of those trailers just to sort of introduce you to these two
these two characters, because I think I guess it sort of like gets to some of the heart of like who these people are that we're dealing with.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
So just relax, take it easy. There's no pressure from me. I'm pretty chilled. I'm just like, whatever happens is what happens. I just create the circumstances and then we jam together. What kind of music do you like?
I mean, I listen to all different kinds of stuff.
You like which era? Like 70s?
Oh yeah, like 80s sometimes.
So you like punk? Is the punk and things like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I like punk, yeah.
That's it. Just keep smashing the guitar. London Calling. Okay, so we're going to do it like it's a gun. It's a gun against your head, yeah? It's not a finger, it's a gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Tropical. Like the pineapple. Honolulu, go. Okay, I'm just not seeing any other layers. You're the creator and the destroyer. You're atomic energy, okay?
Look, I just want to be myself.
Okay, the real you.
Oh yeah, I'm the real me now. I want to be the opposite of before.
No, something's missing. I'm just seeing you and the ice cream. And what I really want to see is danger or destruction or radical protest or death.
I can do that. This isn't Los Angeles, is it?
It is. In a way.
I don't believe any of the words you're saying. I don't believe any of the words I'm saying either. I don't believe any of it.
No one's bothered.
I'm bothered.
Okay, look. Everything was clear. and now it's fucked, and no one knows who they are anymore, and that's a gift you're giving us. Okay? Okay, go. A play by Action Hero.
Play by Action Hero.
So you get a sort of sense there of these two. I keep hesitating to call them characters.
You should, but I think you should call them characters.
Okay,
is
Gemma.
what I think.
I'm going to call them characters, and they're lightly worn characters.
Yeah.
And they move through this scenario, and there's that kind of dynamic that you see there kind of plays out. And yeah, like Gemma said earlier, we play all sorts of games with that. But you can also see from that video kind of the aesthetic of the work, in terms of like like what we're wearing and the music and the pineapple. There's this kind of like tropical
vibe. Yeah, and I think so the kind of character of the photographer is sort of like, there's a few sort of like inspirations for him. Not one of them being Terry Richardson, who is alleged to be a bit of a unpleasant guy, but he kind of occupies, there's a few of them actually, of like the guys who occupy this kind of like art bro, so art bro like persona of like like, oh, I'm just like so I'm just like a creative guy, and like, whatever, like, some crazy stuff happens, like, but you should just get with it, otherwise you're
you
cool
described
enough.
it once as like beta bros alpha bros masquerading as beta bros.
Yeah, and I think there's, so Jim's like really kind of occupying this like hipster guy persona of like like creative genius, and like, oh yeah, we just have to go along with what he says because he's so cool and he's got the vision, and he takes his incredible photos.
And that's playing into that. We were also partly inspired by the I forget his name, but the American Apparel CEO, who again, it's that thing of like how he was interested in sort of authenticity, and how taking real people and photographing them, and but then sort of,
well, there's like a whole aesthetic around that, isn't there? Which I think we try and use, with the white backdrop and all of that, and about. And that,
by the way, white backdrop. Well, this is actually the Wrecking Ball white backdrop, which we've repurposed for the You Had to Be There commentaries. In fact, quite a lot of the set is around us doing its original purpose.
Yeah, but so it's kind of like about this like manufacturing of authenticity, and so there's a lot. So the kind of like play itself, or the piece itself, is like doing a lot of like tricksy things with the text, as we're kind of like simultaneously playing these characters, and sort of also playing like performers in a theatre. So there's some kind of like in and out of that slippage, and and who the audience are. Like, are the audience an audience watching this play, or are they just like your assistants in the room, or sometimes they're the camera?
There's a kind of voyeuristic. There's a lot in there about seeing and how we're looking and what we're looking at. You'll see it when we get to it. Maybe should we just?
Yeah. Do you want to?
You got more to say?
I think probably that's it. I was going to say that the piece is very texty, so we probably won't do much talking over the top of us speaking. So we'll try and kind of take pauses and talk in bits of music to kind of like, I guess, give a bit of commentary.
It's also, compared to the other stuff we've done commentaries on, this work is doing quite a lot of its own commentary on itself. Because
that's kind of what the piece is, in a way.
Yeah, there's so many layers, and it's so text heavy that the text itself is sort of
it
doing
starts
some
to like
of that unpicking. So
back on itself.
We won't need to unpick a lot of it.
So this was it was filmed in Manchester. It was filmed in Manchester Met University, so it was for an audience of students. For once, we've got one complete video. Hooray! Of the show.
Rad.
Yeah, the sound is like patchy in places, but it's fine, and you can sort of get everything that's going on.
Yeah, so in this beginning bit, it's like a lot of our shows, the work's already started when the audience come in, so there isn't this sort of like beginning. It's already started.
It's already happening. So that you can see the kind of like, I mean, I'm sort of in a blackout there, but you can see the sort of, just to talk through the vague setup, we've got, so Jim's got this kind of bar area. Above it, this Cocktails and Dreams sign. There's this like white backdrop where most of the stuff happens with the kind of lights and a flash. And then on the other side of the stage, I don't think you really see it that much. There's a cooler which has beer in it.
Yeah, you can't see that in the shot we've got, but it's a silver cooler full of beer.
Yeah, with pink light that comes out of it.
Yeah.
So people are invited to get a beer at various points. Sometimes people do.
I see 70.
And this is scripting what I'm saying now, but the idea is
I see 80.
this character is sort of like trying to make it seem informal, which is already we're starting with the slippage.
Can I get you anything? Do you need anything before we get into it?
Like what it is, where we're at, and who these
Can
people
you have a
are.
beer?
Yeah, so there's this kind of like continual double speak about like, are we in a theatre,
I just
are
want
we
it
in
to
a
feel like we're in
studio?
my apartment, you know, or in my studio. Just hanging out together. Gotta feel like that. This is good, isn't it? You're here. You're all here. I'm here. We're here. We all made it. Fuck. It's been on the horizon for like forever. Like a, what do you call it? Like a storm on the horizon. Except not a storm. Like the opposite of a storm. Like a, fuck knows what. Like whatever this is. Are you comfortable, by the way? Sorry we're all up here. I'm not really into the chairs. They just set up the wrong chemistry. Because for me, it's all about being relaxed and having fun. Not into it if it's going to be a formal thing. Sorry. I'm a bit overexcited. It's a bit much. I'm just excited to share this time with you, share a drink with you. Have you grabbed a beer? Grab a beer, honestly.
Can I get a beer?
Hey, look, that's what it's there for. I brought the cooler especially. I just want us to feel like we're just hanging out in my apartment or my studio. So just relax, take it easy. No pressure from me. No pressure at all coming from me.
Should I sit back down or?
Hey, there's no should, man. This is not about should. This is a collaboration. I'm pretty chilled. I'm just like, whatever happens is what happens. I'm not in control of that. It's like, I create the circumstances and we jam together. Listen, I respect you enough to believe that you are absolutely in control of your own situation.
Are you talking to me?
Well, I think we're all part of the conversation, right?
But do you want me to answer?
Do whatever you like. That's what I was saying to these guys.
Are they going to be here the whole time? Or?
Don't worry about them. They're just here in a kind of backup way, just to assist me, help me out. But mostly, you won't even know they exist.
I am going to sit back down.
Yeah, sit in, yeah, or stand in. What you're doing is fine. Just sit in a relaxed way. Just be yourself. I like to keep things casual. I've got some ideas I want to knock back and forth with you. See if we're on the same wavelength.
What kind of ideas?
Well, slow down. Why jump straight in? It's been so long in the pipeline, we may as well get to know each other first. So I'm guessing you're familiar with all of this.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with this kind of thing.
Okay, it's a good idea to put all that aside. It's better if none of us are bringing any baggage with us. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we can start with a clean slate.
Haven't we started already?
I'm not really into defining things in that way. Like, who's to say when we start or where the beginning or end is? I don't like things to be structured or pre-planned. I just like going with the flow. It needs to feel alive and spontaneous.
Right.
It's not about boundaries.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
So that's
That's
a
cool.
flash there that you
It's
can't
better
quite
if
see
you're
in the video.
unprepared.
Really?
Yeah, shoot from the hip. Things just happen when they happen.
It just didn't seem like it was all set up.
Like what was set up.
Like all the lights, like the equipment.
Yeah, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. Lights, costumes, whatever. I just want to spend some time in a room together and make some ideas happen, just me and you.
It's just. I thought we were just talking.
We are. We're just hanging out, having a conversation. It's like we're just in dialogue. And when I say that, I don't mean dialogue. I mean, we're just talking. For real. This is really happening right now. See? Think of it as a spontaneous series of events. None of us know what those events are going to be. We're just going with the flow and the lights and the scenery and everything else, that's just there. Doesn't affect what this is. It's just us.
And them.
Forget about them. I just want to spend some time in a room together and learn new things. Let's get to know each other. Should we have some music?
Sure.
What kind of music do you like?
Well, I mean, I like lots of different kinds of stuff, all different kinds of music, really.
Nice, yeah, like different genres, different eras.
Yeah, like 80s sometimes.
Yeah, and 70s.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes 70s, yeah.
Like 70s punk, so you listen to punk and things like that.
Is this right? It doesn't feel very spontaneous to me.
Look, just go with it, okay? I know it feels weird, but just go with it. You just need to loosen up a little bit. Which bands do you like?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that I specifically just like any one band.
Okay, so you're not really a fanboy, obsessive kind of person. You're more of a magpie kind of person. You don't have specific loyalties. You're free to pick and choose what you like.
Yeah,
Like 70s punk, early rave, 90s hip hop, J-pop.
yeah. I mean, I like all those things.
So you're keen to please.
Am I?
I hope not.
No.
You don't care what I think.
No, I don't give a shit what you think.
You don't give a fuck.
I literally don't give a fuck what you think.
That's great. I can work with that.
You think?
Well, what do you think?
I want to do, not think.
Exactly. Exactly that. So you're angry.
Yeah,
You want to fight against something.
definitely.
What?
Whatever.
What's your real age? Your actual age?
I don't know what you're asking me here.
Simple question.
I'm 35.
Jesus, God, no, not you. Not your real age,
Oh, what, younger?
obviously. You're as young as you feel.
19?
That's ambitious.
Yeah. Okay. I thought we were having some music.
Yes. Perfect. You'd be like, fuck it, let's dance.
Yeah, I never said I was going to dance.
So you can just relax, act natural, just move naturally.
No, I can't dance to this.
Yeah, that'll work. You're reluctant.
What is this song? It's terrible.
Okay, let's do it like that.
Can we have a different piece of music?
It's like we're messing around. You're talking to me and you're saying something like you would say, like, oh, come on, stop goofing around, yeah?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, like, oh, come on, stop goofing around, okay?
Oh, come on, stop goofing around, okay?
That's the sort of thing you'd say. And then you'd probably, like, give me the finger. Yeah, but to the camera. Perfect, but just the one finger. Yeah, and then you'd probably be, like, laughing, like, cheeky, naughty laughing.
I can only laugh if you say something funny.
Well, that's got to be spontaneous. Can't be pre-planned, doesn't work that way.
Well, just say something then.
Well, let's just say, I say something funny, because that's probably what I'd be doing anyway, and then you laugh, because that's how you would respond, then you're giving me the finger, and then you say something like,
I just want to be myself.
oh, okay, the real you. So now you're for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm the real me now. I want to be the opposite of before.
And you're serious.
I'm me, and I'm totally serious about it.
But you're still playful.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm still fun. I mean, I'm still like, hey, I'm the life of the soul, not down with that grown-up shit, but I'm not a child either.
Children aren't sexy.
I'm not a sexy kid.
But youth is sexy.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm still young. I mean, I'm old enough, obviously, but I'm not old.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll start again. And I'll just set it up like a stupid interview thing, okay? But we're not serious. We're just pretending. And I'll ask you some stupid questions.
Just pretending.
So, what kind of music do you like?
You know, I listen to lots of different kinds of stuff. 70s punk, early rave, 90s hip hop, J-pop. You know, I'm really like a magpie kind of person. I'm not like a fangirl obsessive kind of person. I just pick and choose what I like.
Who's your favourite movie star?
Tom Cruise. He's kind of old school, and I like that.
He's creepy. Try another.
Patrick Swayze. He's kind of old school, and I like that.
He's dead. I don't think we want that kind of association.
He's not dead.
He is. Death isn't a place we want to go.
Yeah, well, we're all gonna die, you know.
Yeah, but not now, so leave that one alone.
I can't believe he's dead.
What's your favourite colour?
Pink,
Too obvious.
purple,
Prince owns purple.
black.
Black's not a colour.
Yeah, it is. It's my favourite colour.
It's not a colour. It's an absence of light. It's nothing. It's a void.
So I'm a void.
Let's think about it more as a blank canvas.
That would be white.
Okay. This isn't working for me now, so let's just take a break.
Shall we take a break as well?
Yeah, let's take a break too.
Yeah, so we just introduced the idea of light there, and that's sort of that's something that now kind of grows throughout the work.
Yeah,
This sort of theme about light and creation.
yeah. And a kind of about like the creation of the image and how any image is just the light reflecting off it, and colours are light reflecting off it. So
Yeah, and there's some sort of thing in there. This the kind of through line that it could, because it's a photographer. This idea, yeah, that like the way you create an image with a camera through the light, but thinking of the idea of sort of the Big Bang and light being the beginning of everything,
Yeah.
and the beginning of creation,
yeah,
and then also thinking about nuclear explosions and the flash,
yeah.
which is something which
Yeah, and the
comes
flash
much
of
later.
the flash of the explosion, kind of versus, or maybe not versus, coinciding with the flash of the camera.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
like
like destruction of that, and then
being the creation of the
Yeah,
image.
yeah.
Oh, and then sort of towards the end of the play, these two things kind of come together. And there's this continual theme of like creation and destruction, and her as like a creator and a destroyer. There's this kind of line. I think it's hard to hear it in the video where she says,
later on.
"Yeah, I am the destroyer of worlds," which is what his name? Who
Robert
Oppenheimer, who created the atomic bomb, and he said this thing about "I am the destroyer of worlds." So yeah, it's kind of about there's these like a lot of these kind of things overlapping,
And that comes from this thing about obliteration and the idea of like how we're bombarded with imagery, and yeah, we're sort of playing with that idea of what it means to be bombarded,
Yeah.
and yeah, the
Yeah.
destructive power of that.
yes, the destructive power of images, and and how she might be part of that, I
But
suppose.
I actually, what I wanted to say is like we just bring that kind of thing in at the end there, but that whole first part we just watched before this break is all about this idea of introducing the idea of being yourself,
Yeah.
or what it means to be, and overlaying that, the characters asking that of themselves, overlaying that over the being in a theatre and saying who are these people, and yeah, like that line that I laughed out of, we're just pretending. So it's
Yeah.
the script is continually signalling to the audience that these are two actors reading a script,
Yeah.
and we're doing that as much as we can. Like the other line, dialogue, and I don't mean dialogue.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it starts to like this. The text in that first like 10 minutes is it's like doing so much work in terms of like laying some like thematic foundations, because like, you know, we're in a sort of quite, I don't want to say the word naturalistic because it's not what I don't mean like naturalism, but I guess we're in a sort of like a realistic type scenario of like, here's a person, do you know what I mean, in terms of like it's recognizable
Well,
of
there's
like
dialogue
what's happening
between two people.
yeah, we're not like two gods floating in space, do you know what I mean? It's like two people in a conversation about, but like as the piece goes on it starts to become like less and less tethered to reality, and I guess it's also like starting to the piece is like always in this tension of like inviting you to suspend your disbelief because we're in a theatre, but then trying to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
And so like as the piece towards the end starts to go more weird, it's like, you know, and we're sort of like overlaying on this white backdrop, which is, you know, nothing, like this void space, which she says like the blank canvas, and her is a blank canvas. You're starting to like being invited to like overlay these scenarios that you can't see onto this blank canvas, you know, in as a sort of like, you know, inviting you to suspend your disbelief as an audience in the theatre. But the text is continually telling you that like, oh no, this is real, this isn't real, asking questions about what it means to play something for real, what it means to like want to reinvent yourself as a real version of yourself.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's a line in that first part where I say, like, just go with it. Gemma says something about how this doesn't feel quite right, and that's taken from rehearsals, when we were in rehearsals, because this is not instinctively the work we make. I don't think there's any other work where we have any kind of dialogue in this same way.
Yeah.
And when we were making the work, we were always wrestling with our own sort of dis-ease or unease about that, and that's something we would say to each other in the rehearsals, like, you've got to go with it, just
Yeah.
you know, it will make sense.
Well, and also that we had to suspend our own disbelief.
Yeah, and that's like partly just because of what our instincts are as makers, but also the work itself is sort of looking at responsibility, and as a maker, thinking about your responsibility as an author, and what it means to hold fictional spaces, and when you tell a story or when you create a world, there's a responsibility around that.
So what's about to happen is that Jim's character, he's about to kind of do like a little mansplaining lecture on photography and visual culture. And I remember actually early on we were like, I think there has to be some sort of like lecture bit where you kind of like tell us all, you know, about
Light.
well, let me explain photography to you. So that's about to happen. All right, should we carry on?
Yeah, crack on.
Let's have a drink.
He's also describing metaphor, isn't he? Like he's lecturing on what metaphor and what theatre is in this bit.
So imagine a picture of an egg. What's it about?
Chickens,
Okay, what else?
farming,
Okay, not really. What else?
breakfast,
Okay, no. It's about fertility, femininity, being a woman, see? So when I take a photo of you, it's also a photo of something else. It's a photo of a dream. It's a photo of a nightmare. It's a photo of an entire fucking system. It's a photo of all of us, okay?
I think I'm more of a dream than a nightmare, like a wet dream or a daydream.
Right, but what I'm saying is that pictures are a kind of language, and we can use that language to tell a certain story about you. So imagine, it's a tight shot. No bells, no whistles, no Photoshop, no makeup, no fucking anything. Totally stripped back. No object, no subject. It's a non-concept. It's just the light on the film. The light travels from the sun and it illuminates the blackness. A flash from the beginning of time. We catch it and we preserve it. I open the shutter. The particles flood in just 1/100th of a second, but they stay there forever.
We're always really conscious of the image making we're doing as well, and sort of flagging that and signposting it. And using this stage within a stage
Yeah.
to do that image creating.
And sometimes those images feeling like they're incidental, and sometimes them being really heavily constructed, and the ones that are really heavily constructed sometimes failing and sometimes being successful, and like our comfort or discomfort with being inside the image.
Yeah.
What do you see?
I can see a pineapple.
Look closer. What are we looking at?
I can just see a pineapple.
That's fine. Just need to see it from a different perspective. Tell me what you see now.
Fruit.
Give me more.
Spiky fruit. Tropical fruit.
Okay, but what's happening?
Nothing's happening. It's just sitting there.
What about now? Get
This
closer.
is really like ways of seeing stuff going on, like really, really purposefully.
I can see a pineapple.
Show me the pineapple. No, show me the pineapple. Okay, what am I looking at?
Me with the pineapple.
Right. Think of an image you've seen hundreds of times. There's action, it's raw, something of significance is happening right there in front of us.
Like an explosion.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Is it a grenade? A grenade going off?
Okay. Okay, what else?
A gun? A man with a gun. A man with a gun to his head.
Good. More.
Blood?
Where's the blood?
The blood is on the sand.
Where else?
The blood is on the concrete.
Keep going.
Blood on the back seats of cars.
Yes, perfect. Something real. What else?
Warships.
Incredible.
Warplanes.
Unbelievable.
Napalm. Children running.
More of that.
A famine. A massacre.
It's just
a
the
huge
light on the film.
chasm open,
It's you,
up
that's
into the
you.
ground. Tanks.
What are the tanks doing?
Tanks destroying walls.
What else?
Tanks destroying people. Hurricanes.
Earthquakes. We take hold of that moment and we find that realness for you, okay? So, what's your message?
Well, there is no message.
But if you just had one message to pass on, what would it be?
The message is, buy the album.
That's not going to work. Try something else.
There is no message. It's just me.
Okay. You want to do it that way? I can work with that. Let's do that. So we'll go from the top. I'll ask you what your message is, and you'll say there is no message.
I already said that.
Yeah, but say it again for the camera.
That's not who I am anymore. I'm doing it for real, or I'm not doing it.
So that's the message.
There is no message. It's just me.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Oh, right back to the very start.
No, we're going to go right back to before anything existed, and that's where we start. So we make a space with nothing, and then we wait in the nothing, in the darkness, and then from nowhere a tiny pinprick of light, a microscopic pulsing of energy, and it starts expanding, getting bigger and bigger until it's all we can see, until you're all we can see. You're the light, all the stars in the sky, the origin of the fucking universe, see? And as soon as we see you, we realise that everything that came before was just primordial soup. Formless, unstructured goop. A fucking vacuum. But the sight of you, it's like atoms hurling themselves together. Whole worlds are created, right? Seeing you is like a supernova. An atomic act of divine creation. The Big Bang.
So I'm starting it.
Yep. You're starting the party. Because you're a party girl, right?
I'm bringing the good times.
Yeah, you're bringing all the times. You're bringing all of time.
I'm everything that's ever happened and everything that is to come.
We want to capture that moment, the moment life began. We catch it and we preserve it. Light particles travel through space to get here, and they make blue for your eyes, and they make red for your mouth, and they gather above your cheekbones, and the gap between your lips is left alone like a miniature black hole. An event horizon. A flash in the dark. It's universal. It's iconic. Because we know it's you, right? It's all about you. And in some ways we want nothing else, but we also want everything else. So imagine a Pacific atoll, palm trees, coconuts, white sands.
Isn't that a bit done?
Yeah, it's totally done. That's the point. You're in a bikini, it's sexy, that's a given, you're drinking from a coconut, tropical.
Okay, but behind me, yeah, out to sea, there's a huge fucking mushroom cloud.
Whoa. Cool. So we see the done thing, the cliche thing, and then we fucking blow it to pieces. So we see a flash, there's a huge cloud, a sexy delay, and then whoosh, palm trees are bent right over, and this nuclear wind is blowing the bark off the trees, and the sand and the water and like fish and like pineapples are like flying right past you, and boats, and it's just like blowing right past you, doesn't even touch you.
Boats.
Yeah, like a yacht or something. We can get a picture from Hurricane Katrina or the tsunami, and then we can just Photoshop it in. So there's a blinding light, eclipsing everything, and this nuclear wind is destroying it all. It's blowing it all away, and we're left with just you.
On a beach.
Yeah, beaches are cool. And maybe it blows the beach away too. Maybe it blows it all away, and you're what's left.
In a bikini.
A Pacific atoll.
A mushroom cloud.
Doesn't get any more iconic than a motherfucking A-bomb. Now, show me the pineapple.
We're back.
We're back. Yeah, so
Can I just say, show me the
Let's have some
pineapple.
music.
I really wanted to have T-shirts printed with "Show me the pineapple."
so this developing this thing about like the idea that like she is the beginning of everything, and that that the idea that like the entire world will be remade when they see her. I mean, and he's like, flattering her into it as well.
Yeah. It's like there's three. I mean, at least three layers. There's like him flattering her and sort of seducing. There's also what we talked about earlier about introducing idea of creation and destruction.
Yeah.
But then there's just also this thing about appropriation and what it means to appropriate the image of the atom bomb.
Yeah.
And the way in this section here, we're just sort of moving objects around.
Yeah.
And I guess you're sort of just another object for him to sort of
Yeah.
put
Yeah,
in
yeah.
place of another object,
Yeah.
and we create, and he's authoring meaning out of these just sort of
Yeah, so
appropriating different things.
yeah, we're just sort of seeing the movement of things in a space, really, and yeah, it's kind of like, it also just gives us a moment to like have a break from the text, which is quite like machine gun intensity, like, because as you say, there's like a lot going on, like sort of
Yeah.
layered within it. So
We saw this
is
bit
like-
really as just an opportunity just to let some images move without any text, because there's a lot of image making in the work, and we're always conscious, like we said, of this stage within a stage.
It's also setting up some stuff that comes, which is starting to be built in the text and kind of carries on of like, a tropical island. And he says this idea of like, oh my God, I got this amazing idea, it's a tropical island, and it's like the most cliched idea you can think of. But you know what I mean? We're sort of like starting to set up these things, especially with this music as well.
Yeah, it's weird because I think the music actually came first, and then the tropical kind of aesthetics came second. But the music was just, we were really into this sort of like, I don't know, mood, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of a bit like, I don't know, like it's nostalgic or retro or something.
Yeah. It's also really useful if, as a theatre maker, because there's no lyrics.
Yeah.
And this ice cream becomes
Yeah, the ice cream becomes a key.
object.
So things start to revolve around the ice cream. The ice cream becomes a metaphor.
No, I'm looking, but I'm just seeing you and the ice cream. And what I really want to see is danger, or destruction, or apocalypse, or radical protest, or death.
I can do that.
Okay, let's see danger. Okay, destruction. Okay, apocalypse. Radical protest. Death. Okay, no, I'm not seeing any other layers. I'm just seeing ice cream. It should hit like a bomb. It should be explosive.
Explosive.
Yeah, it should be like a grenade going off.
Like, I'm just minding my business and then...
Flash, boom, an explosion, exactly. Your atomic energy. You're the Big Bang, the creator and the destroyer, okay? Go. Okay, look. After they tested those nukes in the desert, all the water in the taps went brown for like hundreds of miles. Do you see what I'm saying? You're the nuke. Everything was clear, and now it's fucked, and no one knows who they are anymore. And that's a gift you're giving us. Okay? You muddied the water, see? Okay? Go. No, I'm not seeing it. Nothing's happening. Close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. What can you see?
I can see a mushroom cloud.
Great. What else?
I can see a Pacific atoll. Bikini. Oh, a bikini atoll.
Nice. Give me more of that.
I can see bombs, those big dick-shaped bombs.
Perfect. Keep going.
I can see the pictures they would draw on the side of the bombs. You know, women in bikinis, and they write, "I love you, Mum," on the side, and maybe I'm the girl on the side of the bomb. It's not, "I love you, Mum," it's me they love. Maybe our job is to drop these bombs everywhere. Maybe our job is to drop bombs on cities with my name on and my picture in a bikini.
Like photo bombs. That's nice.
No, I'm literally saying let's drop bombs on cities with my name on. Let's totally fucking smash cities with my image, we just got to make sure it's my name on the side of the bomb, and you're like the pilot in the aeroplane, and you're pressing the big red button.
Wait, this is really fucking cool. Do that again, but with more energy, and let's have some music.
Okay, right. I was saying bombs. I was saying let's cause explosions. I was saying let's clear away everything that's gone before so that we can rebuild in my image. Let's destroy buildings. Let's smash cities. Let's tear it all down, raise it to the fucking ground so that we can create new foundations. And I'm the new foundation. Total destruction and reconstruction, like post-war, post-apocalypse, and then there's me. And I'm the creator and I'm the destroyer, right? And nothing has existed before me and nothing will exist after me. I'm the new history, and when we unleash my image onto the world, there'll be light and heat.
Keep going, this is great. Can we get some more side light?
The whole world fresh, starting anew, and we start from me. And there's no meaning except me, and there's no message except me, so I'm the perfect messenger. I want complete carnage, I want total devastation. I want to stop time.
Keep going, this is great. Can we get the music louder?
I want to embed my image on the retinas of everyone. Just one long party in the rubble, dancing to my tune. Just one big flash, and that's all we ever see ever again. No history, no future, just one long party in the rubble, dancing to my tune. And I am the bomb. That's I
Eat the ice cream.
And this bomb is it. Land on the Pacific Island.
Eat the ice cream.
My name on, and it's a picture of me in a bikini.
Eat the ice cream.
I am the destroyer of worlds. I am the destroyer of worlds.
Eat the ice cream, eat the ice cream. That's it. Sex, apocalypse, death, it's all there. You're doing it. You're doing it. That's it.
This is an ice cream. This is an ice cream.
I've literally no idea what you're talking about.
This is an ice cream.
Should we take 5? I'll be happy just to break for a while.
This ice cream is not a Pacific Island. It's not a mushroom cloud. This ice cream is not a hydrogen bomb.
It is those things. It's the beach, it's the sand, it's sexy, it's innocent, it's colourful, and it's youthful. And it's also phallic, like the bomb. But it drips, so it's even sexier. And we're going to shoot with it all over your face and all over your t-shirt, so it is an explosion.
What are you talking about? You're talking in fucking code. I don't even understand what you're saying anymore. Where are the palm trees? Where's the bikini? Where's the ocean? This ice cream isn't even an ice cream.
It is those things. It's a metaphor for those things.
I haven't used metaphors since like 3 years ago. Metaphors are dead. The old me was into metaphors. The new me is straight up and for real. Do you know what for real means? It means no metaphors. This shoot was supposed to be about making waves.
We are absolutely making waves.
Where? Where are the waves? There's no sea. There's no beach. I can't dance on the beach if there is no beach. It's not a Pacific Island. This isn't an ice cream, and you're a fucking asshole.
I don't understand what's upsetting you so much. Do you need a drink of water or something? I can get you a drink of water or a beer or something else.
Can you get me a Pacific Island? Then screw you. Screw you and your shitty photo shoot that isn't even a photo shoot. And your living room, which isn't even a living room. And your camera, which isn't even a camera. I bet you're not even a photographer. You're just some prick who thinks it's cool to pretend he's a photographer. You think it's cool to put on a flannel shirt and skinny jeans and say you're an artist. Tell them about the ice cream.
I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
I bet that's not even your shirt, is it? Are you wearing a costume? Are you wearing a fucking costume? This ice cream isn't even ice cream, it's mashed potato. Why is the ice cream mashed potato?
It isn't mashed potato.
How come it isn't melting?
It isn't mashed potato.
Eat it then.
Okay.
Go on. Eat the mashed potato and tell me it's ice cream.
Strawberry ice cream. I love strawberry ice cream.
This isn't Los Angeles, is it?
It is. In a way.
He's full of shit. It's mashed potato with pink food colouring in it. You're a liar. I don't believe any of the words you're saying. I don't believe any of the words I'm saying either. I don't believe any of it.
No one's bothered.
I'm bothered.
Yeah, well, you're making yourself look like an idiot.
No, you're really wrong about that because it's you who's making me look like an idiot, and I'm not an idiot. I just want to be believable or relatable. I don't want to be a fake.
You can be whatever you want to be.
No, you know that isn't true.
Who cares about truth? No one gives a shit.
You know who gives a shit? They give a shit.
No, they don't. They really don't.
They do. They care about what happens. They care about what it means. These guys are the only real thing in here.
Ugh. You're making me feel sick.
Yeah, it's the mashed potato making you feel sick.
It isn't mashed potato. It's strawberry ice cream.
You just keep trying to believe that until you vomit.
I don't need to try.
Should we have a little stop there?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
There's loads going on. Yeah, there's.
I hadn't even thought, like, because we made this show in 2015, so it's pre-Trump winning, and that whole thing there, that about believability and
yeah.
like being hung up on like it being real or fake really resonates in a different way now.
It's also pre Me Too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not pre that stuff happening, obviously, but it's pre that.
Pre
all of that
#Me
stuff.
Too.
Yeah, it's pre that, and but I think there's loads of resonances there. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about like to kind of go back to like, so there's this bit when I like kind of say I should be the bomb and I'm I'm going to be the one who kind of destroys the world and remakes it in my image. So this is kind of like, I guess this idea of like her as this sort of megalomaniac figure, and I think there was like, we knew that we didn't want her because you're this kind of like asshole guy, and so if she is just like a passive nothing, then that feels like an unsatisfying sort of arc for her. So I think there's also this sense in which like she is prepared to like do this deal with the devil in order to like rebuild the entire world in her image, so that she says this thing of like, there's no meaning except me, there's no message except me, which is obviously this like play on like the medium is the message kind of thing. So like
also in the bit before when I'm asking you what your message is and you're saying that
there is no message, it's just me.
Yeah, so that as if there's no content beyond just
like she's just like a void in order to be filled with whatever, so that she can achieve, I don't know, 10 million followers on Instagram, you know what I mean? Because that's like her ultimate goal, which and then I guess like, and that thing of like when I'm like shouting, throwing the confetti, it's, I guess we're sort of like working towards this like collapse. It's like a collapsing in of meaning in a way, like no meanings can be created anymore because the only meaning is me. Do you know what I mean? Like, or I'm the origin of all meaning, something like that.
There's something about like your like the ultimate aim is just to be seen. Or so existing just can
in
mean,
order to be seen. Yeah,
existing can just mean to be visible, and there doesn't have to be any meaning behind that. It's just like, as long as I am.
But she wants more than visibility. It's more than that. I think it's about like hollowing yourself out to create yourself as a cipher, to be filled with the desires of anybody who happens to look at you. Do you know what I mean? It's like she wants to be. It's something about that particular kind of.
It's funny though, because I remember when we were when we used to work on this bit, Deborah Pearson worked on this project as a dramaturg, so there'd be the three of us in the room. And I remember you and Debbie getting really hung up on this bit in that way, trying to
Yeah,
get...
because we were like, it should be really big, it should be this really spectacular moment, and it never kind of got to that.
That's not what I meant.
Oh,
I meant, like, the things you were just talking about, really worried, like, why is Gemma... Why is this character saying these things? What's the kind of like meaning behind what she's... But to me, and this is really interesting in terms of like the role of who I was being in the work, is that it didn't really matter to me what you were saying, because what this bit was more about, or it probably wasn't more about, it's just like the same
that's
about,
what spoke to you.
is that you're creating that we are creating like we were creating the images before, where we were just moving from one image to the other. This is a development of that, and we're not just creating an image for the audience to see, even though we are, because you can see the construction of that image. But we're also showing how we construct image in theatre. So it's not the photo anymore. It's like he starts talking about the sound, and he starts talking about the lights in the room. And we watch me create movement. And the noise you're making is part of it. And it's not really important what you're saying is something about, explosions and destruction. And to me, it was always just like,
for you,
it's
it was about
that
a
you're
texture.
creating, you're creating a piece of theatre within this piece of theatre. And the important part of it is that we're watching that construction happen. And he's authoring it, but also...
For me, it was about like the moment when she starts to believe her own hype, it sort of like starts to like loop round of like, and then it's like, hang on, this ice cream isn't real, and I thought I was gonna like be a bomb, or I thought I was going to be on the beach, and so and it is this kind of thing of like things standing in for things doesn't work for her anymore because she wants to be so real.
So I think it's like, a really funny sort of, I guess, in theatre in joke almost, of like the idea of an actor who can't possibly
imagine
not be real anymore. So like rejecting theatre on stage, rejecting metaphor.
But it's also like, she's like no metaphor. It's the end of metaphor. It's kind of like the end of meaning, like the end of fiction, the end of like anything pretending to be anything else. But it's also like, so you start to get this like slippage of like who's who, what means what, and I think that also starts to happen with me and you, of like, because you never have a camera, you never take a you never handle a camera, you just kind of make this flash go off. So there's a sense in which like it is kind of you, and it is your real shirt, but it's also not you, and the sense of like, the beginning when you're like, I say the age I was when we wrote this, which was 35. And then it's like, oh no, not your real age. So, and it's also the sense in which like, you're close enough to pass for, because it's play, as that character. And I'm like close enough to pass as the character, but also not. Like we're also like, I think it's important that it wasn't like a real photographer who was much older and an actual, actor in their early 20s who was like, that model of like, sort of tall and skinny and that perfect pop star look. I think there's something important of like, you like almost that when if you squint a bit, so there's this like continual slippage of meaning, which is between these different worlds.
That relates a bit to as a performer, like how to perform this work, or what it was like to perform, was really interesting because there's a sort of sense that we had anyway, and we're not sure if this was how. I think it was conscious, but also it's just like we're not like trained actors. So when we're delivering the lines, there's a sense of being able to hear the script.
But I think that for me that was a conscious decision of like you need to be able to hear the script.
Well, when we watched it yesterday, I said that, and you were like, I think that's just we're not very good at it. I disagree. I think we were deliberately
Yeah.
deliberately
But it
like
wasn't-
signposting the text, some lines more than others.
But it wasn't. Just like I said before, we never wanted it to be a work of naturalism.
No,
Like
no, no.
that's not the tone, you know.
But the text itself is deliberately written to be close enough to something I would say.
Yeah.
That means sometimes, even though I'm signposting that this is a piece of script that I'm saying out loud,
Yeah, and this is a character that you're
it's
playing.
close enough that it can often sound still like
Yeah.
a natural thing that would come out my mouth, particularly at the beginning, when some of it even feels like I'm making up as I go along.
Yeah.
And that's, we play with that a lot, like this idea that I think he says earlier on that like no one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's all going to be spontaneous, but obviously we all know if there's a script which does tell us where we're going.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we've kind of got to this like crisis point, if you like, in the narrative of the piece, which is like I'm like rejecting all fiction. It has to be real, or else I don't want to be in it. And you're like, well, it doesn't matter. Like we'll just pretend like it's just metaphorical, and that's enough. So it's kind of like, where can the piece go from here?
Yeah. Let's see.
Let's see.
We can just sit together and chat, can't we?
They won't answer you
Why not?
because it's not in the script.
Let's just sit together and talk like normal human beings in a room. We can do that, can't we? They can't even answer. It's like I don't even exist.
They're just trying to be inconspicuous.
Okay, fine. Here's the script. We are right here on page 49. Anyone? Can you see that? It's in yellow. Can you see where to read from?
Do you want me to read it?
Yes. Yeah, that's what's happening now.
I didn't expect to have any. I didn't expect to have to do any acting.
Listen, buddy. No one here is doing any acting.
Don't listen to him. He's not part of this anymore. We're just gonna chat and connect in a genuine way. I want you to feel at home here. I know there's all these lights and all these people, but I just want us to imagine like it's me and you just hanging out together in my apartment or my studio. We're just having fun, getting to know each other. Why don't you tell me a bit about yourself?
What do you want to know?
What do you think of this guy's work? You can be honest with me.
I'm not familiar with it.
He's not familiar with your work. And what made you come along here tonight?
Well, I've been here a few times. I had an okay time, so I thought, why not?
And how is this measuring up to previous visits, I mean?
I think I should probably reserve judgment until it's finished.
Good answer. Does this feel like real dialogue to you?
Neither of us sounds particularly convincing.
You know what? I don't think we're the problem. Everything sounds fake, even you, and you're totally for real.
Okay, this isn't working for me now, so let's just take a break. Let's have some music. I don't want to bust anyone's balls, so let's just hold off for a bit, have a few beers. This is all new for you. I've thrown a lot at you, and you're freaking out. I get it. So let's just take it easy. Have a few beers, listen to some music, and eat some fucking ice cream. Everyone loves ice cream. This party needs ice cream. If you want to dance, you can just dance. No one's watching. I'm not taking any pictures. I'm not reading from the script anymore. The script is bullshit. Let's just get what we came for. Let's just cut to the chase.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to everyone. Everyone loves dancing. Everyone loves ice cream.
I feel like so he's kind of, when he says that, let's just cut to the chase. It's like this scene for me is cutting to the chase of theatre. It's like either you believe that it's ice cream, or you choose to believe it is, or you don't. And he's like, it's ice cream.
Yeah, and it's kind of about like, the process of like asking you to suspend your disbelief, and because in a way that's what needs to happen for the show to continue.
And the sort of absurdity of our belief in that collectively, and like how far he's willing to push that idea for his own kind of, to meet his own ends of it.
But also it's like, I don't know, this kind of amazing, I guess we also were able to hold these two things in our mind simultaneously, of like, it's ice cream, it's not ice cream, it's, I don't know, he's for real, he's not for real, he's reading from the script, he's not reading from the script. And to like be in that middle, messy space is interesting.
Because the work's just constantly unraveling, and it's sort of also always challenging itself. The work's like asking questions of itself, and this bit's a sort of challenge. Like the performer has the challenge of eating the ice cream and trying to make it look like he's eating actual ice cream, but there's also it's sort of, I guess.
But also you choke on it, like you're choking on your own fiction.
Yeah.
You know, like you're choking
it's so dry, like trying to make it look. Obviously, we know that it's not possible, but there's something quite thrilling about his commitment to that idea.
And the insistence of like, I will not give up on this fiction.
Yeah.
And I will not give up on the ice cream.
It's just stubbornness.
Yeah, but because if the ice cream is real, then the beach is real, then the sand is real, then the waves are real. And how can you deny me if I've eaten it? Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of like, where the piece goes from there in a way.
But I guess that's like any sort of author asking the audience of the work that you have authored and saying,
go with me.
Like really pushing that. Asking that as forcefully as you can, that you have to go with it. Yeah, but then he's just sort of left, like, what do you do now?
So you're not talking to me now? Really? Just gonna sit there in silence forever? Because I can't do this without you. Nothing happens without you. I've got something over here you might like. Don't you like ice cream? What do you want? You can have anything you want. Come on. Let's just go with the flow. You're so good at this. You're so good you're making me beg. I thought we were really getting somewhere. That's down to you. Come on. Why don't you come over here and enjoy some of this delicious ice cream? I love this rebellious spirit. It's what makes you so special. You don't conform, I get that. I'm not interested in the kinds of people who just do what they're told. I like your anti-authority, it's fucking cool. I feel like it's why we connect, because we're both pushing against things. That's why we're going to make something incredible happen together. Come on. Come and dance with me. The sand will feel so soft between your toes. Come and sit on the beach with me. You're not the girl who sits things out. I know you. You don't pass on stuff like this. If you want cool stuff to happen in our lives, we have to be open, you know? We have to be like an open book. I had so much fun when I was your age because I was always like yes to everything. I still am. I'm just like yes to whatever anyone says. So much no stuff in this life. Fucking authority and systems, and that blocks incredible things from happening. Well, you're a yes person like me. If we say yes in our lives, amazing things come our way. And I know you like ice cream. And I know you like the beach. And I know you like dancing. And it's warm. It's lovely and warm. You're not a backseat kind of girl, I know you. You're about being free, having fun, doing whatever you like. Come on. Let's dance together, let's chill together. Let's drink a mojito, eat some ice cream. The sun's about to set. The stars are coming out. Don't you want to see that? You're going to miss that because you're sulking?
I'm not sulking.
No. You're taking it all in. I see you. You're beautiful. You're relaxed. You're confident. Your hair looks great. You're the girl. The dust is settling from the explosion. It's going to make the sunset look amazing. We can just sit together on the beach and watch the sun go down. It's all here. Anything you want.
When we were making the work on my, I remember in my notebook was always written the word seduction, and like the seduction of fiction and seduction of theatre, and this bit is a seduction in the two ways. One in him seducing her as a character, but also theatre seducing, and he's using all the tricks. You know, he's trying everything to get
To get her to
back.
come back, of like to believe in the, because it's like if the ice cream is real, then all this is real, and you can have anything.
This is what it's all about. You and me, chatting, relaxed, opening up, letting there be silence, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, you know? That's how we see the real you, what's inside. And it's beautiful. Inside you is beautiful.
You think?
I know. I can see what's underneath. We've got to show them that realness. When we strip everything back, what are we left with? We're left with you. And we really see you for the first time.
But what about the bomb and the mushroom cloud?
That's all it is. It's the explosion. Afterwards, you're what's left. The bomb, it blew everything away.
I'm cold.
It's not cold. It's warm.
But if the sun's going down, then
It's humid here. We're in the tropics. Stays warm at night. Isn't that the most incredible sunset you've ever seen? The particles scatter across the wavelengths from the sun, and the blue gets filtered out. So all that's left is red and orange. But it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
You made that.
Did I?
Sure.
What happened after the explosion?
Everything changed in an instant. There was a flash, the brightest light you've ever seen, and then for one moment, one perfect moment, just silence and light, and then impact. And you're running and everything disappears. It turns to dust around you, and your clothes are torn from your body and your skin is torn to pieces, and underneath we can see pink flesh and muscle and sinew and tissue, and then your bones, pure white under the redness, and your rib cage like a cathedral for the most precious part of you, and then your rib cage is obliterated, and underneath we can see your heart beating. The bomb, it blew everything away, and we're left with your heart on the beach, your beautiful heart. And we see your life flash before your eyes, the last heartbeat.
Am I dead?
You're reborn, new to the world. We see beneath the surface. All these material things, they don't define you now. Your sunglasses, your bikini, doesn't define you. We've gone beyond that. We see the real you now.
My heart.
Yeah, that's what we capture.
This is it.
Yeah, it's perfect. We peel back the layers, peel back the bikini, and we see you.
What should I
We
be
peel
doing?
back the layers, peel back your bikini, and we see you.
I'm not wearing a bikini.
You are. You're on the beach. The sun is setting. You're eating an ice cream. And you're wearing a bikini.
I'm not wearing a bikini.
You're on the beach. You're eating an ice cream. The sun is setting. And you're wearing a bikini. But you take it off. That moment, totally real, totally perfect. And the water laps the shore and it washes the blood away. And the tide takes you back. Back to where we all came from, back to nothing. Nothing left. Just the light. Making the beach, the sand, the sky, and the ocean. That's the moment.
Yeah,
It's a lot going
there's a
on.
lot going on.
It's funny to do a commentary on this work because it's so noodly
Yeah.
and like,
It's continually commenting on itself with like within the script.
and I think we're just deliberately creating sort of so many multiple layers of meaning that
Yeah.
like with this, like we can attempt to unpick it, but it's not like as the makers that we have the answers to.
No, I think we don't make work in that way of like, this is what I want to say and then I just write it. I think there's loads of layers of meaning in there which we are not fully, I can't fully express it because I think the best for us, like the best way to express it was to make this piece of work.
Exactly, yeah. And particularly that final moment is it is like I guess you could say like the kind of light he's describing, this idea of like it's sort of firing all the particles
For me-
and watching them collide and seeing what happens,
Yeah.
and the bikini, like I love the thing of like taking what it means to take off a fictional bikini.
Yeah, so he, I guess he invites her to come back on and says, it's all here, anything you want. And what she wants is to be the ultimate image, the ultimate meaning. She wants there to be no reference points except for her. And so he sort of invites her to come back onto the stage in the way of saying like, anything can happen here. If you believe the ice cream is real, then you have to believe all these other things are real. And then yeah, how that, then he kind of like goes in for the like final, I don't know, it's like he was working up to this the whole time of like him asking her to take her bikini top off, but within the structure of the piece, yeah, like you say, he asks her to remove her bikini and she's like, I'm not wearing a bikini. He's like, you are, and you have to take it off. So there's this like disrobing. It's like she's doubly naked or something.
Yeah, or yeah, it's like what.
Or he clothes her and then makes her take it off.
Yeah, there's something like weirdly not more graphic, but there's just something really graphic about the sort of, I guess, the imposition of like forcing it on you and
Yeah.
then taking it off.
Yeah.
And-
Well, and then forcing you to take it off yourself.
And in the whole piece, my character is saying over and over again different things, like he's willing them into existence by saying it's a strawberry ice cream.
Yeah.
He says it's warm. You're like, it's cold, and he's like, no,
No,
it's
it's
warm.
warm.
And there's a sunset, and he's
And he references the dust from the explosion, which is like the explosion of the
yeah.
atomic bomb, like as if, I don't know, this moment, ultimate moment of destruction and creation has happened and the world has been remade in
Yeah.
her image.
So he's sort of saying it. If you say it becomes true.
True.
And so the thing of willing the bikini into existence just by saying it's there and then taking it off feels like an extra level of
Gross.
like manipulation. And on top of that is obviously that the script always knows that that's where it's getting to.
Yeah.
And I remember me, you and Debbie often saying that moment when Gemma comes back on stage, it was like, why is she coming back on stage? But ultimately, she has to because the script tells her to.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a layer of fiction in the work that I'm the author also of the, not my character, but like the idea of there being a male author of the script.
But that's not, yeah, except that that's not true.
Well, yeah, layer of fiction.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So it's like, but that, I mean, I always think of that being there because that's a sort of an assumption that an audience might often make about a piece of work, that it's written by a
Yeah,
playwright
that
who's
you
a man.
wrote it.
Yeah.
I didn't write it.
Yeah. Or that idea of like, I remember not so much these days, but early on in our work, there was always an assumption that I wrote the work, or he must be the creative genius behind this.
Or he writes it and then she's on stage. Or like if we do anything technical, it's like he must have done the tech stuff.
Yeah.
And
even,
which is it's normally the opposite.
Even sometimes people thinking you're my producer, like when they'd meet us, in networking things or something. It's dodgy. And less so these days.
Yeah, less so these days. Yeah, so there's like a lot happening in that piece, and there's a lot like wrapped up in like the ending of like how exposed I am in the end.
Yeah, that nakedness is is really interesting, like what kind of nakedness it is, and it makes me think of. I remember Greg Whelan doing a lecture about what nakedness is. I think there's an essay by Barth maybe about
nakedness. Yeah.
Like if you're professionally if you're professionally naked, then you're not really naked. So if you were as a performer were naked in the room, it would actually be less naked.
Yeah.
Than that moment, and that also makes me think of the Chris Good, who's a director of Theatre Maker, his thing about the cat test, about for something to be really live, if you're doing something in a theatre and a cat walks across the stage, for it to be really live, the work has to be able to deal with the cat. And what's interesting is in this work,
there's no cat.
You can't deal with the cat because it's not in the script.
No, and there's something. The fourth wall is like working extra hard.
Yeah, it's like and that's. Yeah, I guess normally the fourth wall also is continually moving in this work.
Because sometimes the audience are inside. Yeah. Inside it.
Yeah, and it deliberately comes right into the background or foreground, and then pushes right back, and sometimes it's not there at all, and other times we're banging our head against it.
Yeah. So you could see that moment where I picked up the script. We actually did publish a script. It was published by Oberon, and I think after we'd finished the piece and we're touring it, we started to describe the piece to ourselves as a conceptual artwork disguised as a play script. And I think in retrospect, I think the thing that for me, the ultimate expression of Wrecking Ball as a piece of work is in that play script, is in the physical object of the text, actually. I mean, I was happy with the show and I enjoyed performing it, but I think there's something about, I think what we were trying to do was work right up to the limits of what we felt we could do in the context of that theatre space.
Of all theatre spaces.
Or in the black box space. I mean, I don't think that there's nothing else that can be done in the theatre. I don't mean that.
No, not that.
I don't mean that. I just mean I think for us, as an artist at that time, I was I felt like I'd reached the edges of the space, and that was the last piece of work that we made, which was definitely theatre. We've made work that is performance, of course, and are developing new pieces of work which are performance, but that was very much it's a piece of theatre, and so much so it's a play.
And I think our early work was always very much deliberately trying to escape the theatre, sometimes literally a Western was for a bar, and often it was a bar in the theatre.
In the
theatre bar.
lobby.
Sometimes it escaped the theatre completely and was in a pub somewhere, and then Watch Me Fall was an event that you could put anywhere in a space. We did it in gallery spaces. We also did do it in a motorcycle.
Motorcycle clubhouse.
And that was deliberate, and then gradually with Hoax Bluff and Wrecking Ball we got interested in but what happens if you sort of put it in a theatre, call it theatre, and try and do some theatre. We were interested in trying to break theatre in that way rather than completely run away from it. And then I do think we just sort of,
I just think we sort of felt okay, I've done that. I
think theatre felt I'm done with you.
Done with us, maybe. And I think the theatre world is quite can be traditional or not traditional. The theatre world, theatre can be I don't know. Theatre can be not that interested in breaking theatre. Fair enough. So I think as a kind of artist collaboration, we moved on a little bit from theatre.
And I think because we'd come. We did sort of train in a theatre course, but we when we were developing our practice as Action Hero together, it was not in that context. It grew in this sort of live art context or performance art context, which we just fell into, and which we hadn't really known much about before then. And then, actually, that's not true. But anyway, we'd sort of grown in that environment, and then we sort of found we grew into the theatre a bit, and then.
Well, I think it's just like, if you're like interested in form, which we are, primarily over everything else, interested in form, when you feel like, okay, I've like had a real good go there of like shaking up what might be interesting about the form of theatre, there's not that many places you can go from there immediately. You know what I mean? Like you need to kind of like circle back to it. And it's interesting, we're making a piece at the moment, which I think will ultimately, it will happen in the theatre. And I think it's like interesting to come back to that, but probably that will be, 7 or 8 years after the last piece we made for a theatre space.
And I think with the work we're making now, we're more sort of riding the theatre horse and not trying to...
throw it on
that
its
analogy
side.
doesn't
Riding
fully,
the theatre.
We're not trying
to
jump
over it.
Anyway,
no, but it is interesting. It is super interesting. But for me, the script is like, I really love the script. Like as an artwork, I love this. I love the script.
Well, that's it. When you were saying that, I thought what's interesting is that I think Wrecking Ball actually for us was like us exploring the form of a play text. Which we hadn't really done before.
Yeah, but then it was like, we have to perform it.
Yeah, and there's a reason we only performed it for 3, I think maybe 4 years, but mostly I think we didn't really enjoy performing it as performers. I think we found it difficult.
Yeah, and I would be super interested to see someone else perform the script. I'd be really interested to see someone else direct the script. I think in the moment it was interesting that it was like me and you doing it, and we were the real authors of it, and there's like some interesting complexity in there. But I think I would love to see someone else do it.
I don't think that. I think we thought when we were making it that was really integral, but actually now looking back, I think it would be really interesting to see performers who are perhaps like more experienced actors. Working through those sort of layers would be quite interesting.
Yeah, defo. And the script is still, you can buy it still. I'll put a link in the YouTube comment. If you want to buy the script, it's available. It's still in print, but you can buy it directly from us, from our website. I'll put a link to it. But I guess that's it for Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, latest Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, so next time we're going to be talking about our most recent work. I say most recent, but it's a huge, enormous piece, and it's been going for a long time because it has many tentacles. It's a project we made called, and are still making, called Oh Europa. If you want to find out more about us, you can visit our website. It is www.actionhero.org.uk, or you can find us on social media. It's at Action Hero Live, and we'll leave you with this little bonus video.
That's it into the camera. Okay, so we're going to do it like it's a gun. Okay, so against your head, like a gun to your head, yeah? So hold it there, the other way around, that's it. And then you're going to shoot yourself. It's a gun against your head, yeah? It's not a finger, it's a gun. Yeah. So I'm shooting you, okay? So I've got a gun to your head, I'm executing you, okay? So I want you to think how that feels. How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm
the
scared.
gun against your head,
I'm scared.
Yeah, so I'm shooting you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to execute you, yeah? You're calm. Actually, you're calm, you're holding it there, you're at peace, and then bang, okay? Bang. Ready? 3, 2, in the mouth, perfect. Yeah, same again, but less face. Yeah, so this time it's going through the neck, and I don't know, it's coming out your face. So your face the whole face is just gonna, just keep killing yourself. Just keep killing yourself.
It's just difficult.
In the mouth. Yep, like that. Bang. So everything inside, all the brains, it's against this wall here. And that's what I want to see.
Yeah, it's just a bit hard.
Just keep doing it. Just keep killing yourself. But slower. Not slow motion, just slower.